Facebook. How we doing? I had my nap. I'm ready for the evening. I got my dress on. Yeah, polka dots,
Ooh.
I don't kind of look like Lucille Ball today in this outfit. I just want to welcome you to Comic Spot, everybody. Comic Spot was developed by this Army veteran right here because she has no life and she wants to interview comedians. I like chopping it up with funny people. Forget the other people. I like talking to funny people.
Mhm.
So I started this, and y'all, today we have a treat for you. We have a double header, and we have two veterans of comedy who I get to vet out. So the veteran gets to vet out the veterans of comedy here. That's the longest pun I ever twisted out of my mouth. So let me read you the intro that I have. Yeah. Watch the old lady try to figure this out. Here we go. All right, I'm ready now. You don't think I can memorize 2 paragraphs now, do you? That ain't happening. Okay, here we go with the intro that they gave me. Sam Medina and Athena Rodriguez are here today. These two lovebirds have been doing comedy together for 10 years, you guys. They have traveled up and down the Bay Area in California. They were married just over a year ago and spent their honeymoon performing on a comedy showcase in Honolulu, Hawaii. Who gets that lucky? My goodness. That's the day everybody should got their lottery tickets. Currently, they are producing shows online under their own brand, which is Hypothetical Comedy. Ladies and gentlemen, from San Jose area, I added a word, from San Jose, California, Funky Sam Medina and Athena Rodriguez. Woo! Welcome to the stage here. Wow, thanks
Got
for
the hook
coming.
for it.
My goodness sakes, I got it out. What's going on in your neck of the woods up there by San Jose? You're
Uh,
like an hour from San Jose.
yeah, not much. Just quarantined and hot.
Yes.
It gets pretty warm here.
How hot do you think it is today there, Sam?
Actually, today it's not bad. Today, right, currently it's 81, but usually it gets to like 110.
Wow.
I'm
I'm
sure
here
you
in
know that being in
Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah,
Yeah. I won't go out the door. Forget about it. I
no,
feel like my skin is peeling off.
yeah,
Same.
totally.
Yeah. So I'd like to talk a little bit to Athena first about her background before she met you, and then talk to you about you before you met Athena, and then talk about the two of you together. Will that be okay?
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, we might be here a while, but sure.
Well, in a couple of minutes, Athena, take me through you growing up to where you ran into Funky Sam Medina.
Oh boy.
Like, where'd you grow up?
I grew
When?
up in I grew up in San Jose, California. I didn't really stray too far. I did come from a broken home, so I was in multiple places like foster homes and children's shelters. But I also lived with some family, and what I noticed through my whole childhood was humor was my escape
Yes. Oh
through
my gosh.
everything.
It's so fun to escape, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. It's a great coping mechanism too, isn't it?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So at some point in your life, somebody or you told yourself you're funny. When did you notice you're funny?
Um, I guess, I mean, I would say I was like, I think around 10 years
Mhm.
old, and SNL, Saturday Night Live, was doing a lot of skits. And one of my favorite were Dana Carvey and Kevin Nealon doing Hans and Franz. And so I would be at one of my friend's house down the street and I would do that. And then her parents used to laugh so hard at it. And they would always ask me to do the impression every time I went to play over at their house. And from then on, just everybody would say I was funny. So.
Oh, wow. And you you didn't start comedy per se until both you and Sam met. Is that correct?
Oh no, I started comedy a little before Sam and I got together, I suppose, because we actually met in junior high. So.
Oh
or middle
my
school.
gosh. So
So
what age were you when you started going on stage, Athena?
holy crap, I don't know.
Like,
Yeah, 28.
28. That was 29.
Yeah.
wow.
28.
So what'd you do from high school until you met Sam? What kind of job? Where all did you travel? What, read books? What did you do until you found the love of your life here?
I was going through a divorce.
Leave it to me. You know.
I was going through a divorce and my life was falling apart, and I had used comedy again as my coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And right around the time where I was really, hitting all the mics that I needed to and stuff like that, I realized I really didn't want to date anymore, and I almost was giving up. And then Sam had messaged me, and getting back in touch with Sam really like opened me up to even like a bigger perspective of comedy than I had had. So like we helped each other grow. Really
wonderful. So he had a bigger perspective on comedy than you had been aware of or around.
Well, Sam is more of the social butterfly of our troupe.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for opening up all about your life. And yes, I mean, the hardest times in my life have been when I've dug deep into the comedy pool to cope and everything. So I totally get that. I started comedy because one day my daughter didn't want to talk to me.
Oh my.
Yeah. And it was my only child. So I'm not saying don't have children. I'm saying don't I'm saying don't spoil them rotten like I did. Maybe have 2 or 3 so they have a little competition. But anyway, thank you so much for filling us in on your early life up until the point you met your husband, Sam, here. Sam, you get to do the same. Tell me about what all you did.
So Athena and I had a very similar childhood. Broken home, drugs, abuse, physical abuse, things like that. I did not end up in a foster home though. I ended up with my parents, which I guess you can go either way on that one, right?
Exactly.
So I grew up in a fairly poor neighborhood, Hispanic neighborhood in San Jose. I never really ventured out of San Jose until I moved. But growing up, I was always, am I allowed to say a bad word on here?
Yes, you sure as hell are.
Okay. I was always a smartass growing up.
Me too.
And very quick-witted. And I always thought it was pretty funny. And I would make complete strangers who weren't even in the conversation laugh. Like I could say something to somebody, and then somebody else who has nothing to do with it will laugh.
That's so cool.
And my friends, I remember one thing that sticks out of my mind is one of my friends' dads, when we were teenagers, he would just go, "Man, you are so quick. You're so quick-witted," And I kind of, birthed the dream at that point to be a comedian. And so fast forward a few years, 2009 or 2010 actually. I was exploring Facebook, finding people because I was still fairly new to it. And through a mutual friend, I found Athena. And so I just messaged her to say, "Hey, how you been? What's been going on?" And she's like, "I'm divorced. I have 3 kids. I do comedy." And I'm like, "What? You do comedy?" Because that was my dream. I did not know that there was open mics. And so she invited me out to the open mics, and I started hanging out. And it's funny because she is the kind of person that would come to the open mic. She would sit by herself. She would do her set, and then she would leave. And then when I started coming to the mics, I became friends with all the comedians. And so that's what she means by I'm the social butterfly, because I was the one that kind of like helped her get comfortable, opening up to comedians and being friends and stuff like that. And so, but the first time she went on stage was October of '09.
Okay.
The first time I went on stage was September of 2010.
Got it. Okay, so you're the magic, you're the outgoing one between the two of you. So then the role that probably happens between the two of you is you do some of the background stuff.
Yeah, I do. I do some of the background stuff. Yes.
And
Definitely.
then
She does
so
too,
there
though.
yeah, so that I want to hear how your relationship works being a couple in comedy. So how do you dole out the responsibilities? Because if I have it right, you have a production scenario between the two of you, and then you each have a persona or, a life of comedy on its own. Is that
Right.
correct?
Yeah. So we have a thing together, and we're both also individuals. Real quick though, I kind of want to touch a story about how we got the name Hypothetical Comedy, if I can.
Yes, please.
Athena used to always do this joke about her boyfriend cheating on her, and that was, I was her boyfriend at the time, and the punchline is that it was with a guy, right? That's the punchline. And so people always like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh really? One of the comics that even every time he would say, that's why they call him funky, like just different things. And so it got to the point whenever she would say that joke, I would lean over to whoever's next to me and say, that's a hypothetical situation. And I would always say that, always, always, always. And we performed a big show at the San Jose Improv. It was sold out. There was like 300 or 400 people there. And between the two of us, we ended up bringing like maybe 100 people. Like we packed the place that night.
Yeah.
And so she was on stage. She was wrapping up. I was next. And her closing joke is the cheating boyfriend joke. It got a big laugh. I grabbed the host and I said, what I want you to say is this next comic wants me to tell you that Athena's joke about her cheating boyfriend is a hypothetical situation. And she went out there, she said that, and it killed.
Oh my God.
And so that word hypothetical has always been kind of something that was part of our comedy. We ended up taking about 3 years off of comedy, not doing it for about 3 years. And when we started back last year in July, that was what we wanted to run with, Hypothetical Comedy. That's our troupe, and that became our shows. When we started doing producing shows at a comedy club, we called it Hypothetical Comedy.
So when you say that's your troupe, do you mean you have people with you?
No, it's a troupe of two.
Yes,
Troupe of
a
two.
duo,
A troupe of two. Yeah, it's
Nice.
a duo.
Do you ever go on stage and banter with each other in the audience, like George Burns and Gracie Allen?
No, we don't really know how to implement that.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask us that.
Everybody asks us if we do it, together. If we do comedy together. We've never really done it. A lot of places aren't set up for that.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll pay you each. Not
Right. Not just one for both of us.
Yeah. So Comic Spot, I love it. I know you've loved it. Let's keep it going. I need your help. I developed it so you out there can get to know comics, whether they're brand new or 45 years in the biz. We're going to get to know them so you'll know who to love. So all I need you to do is donate to my Cash App, and that is Linda Marcus Smith. I would really appreciate it. Thank you. I know there's married couples that go on stage. Sarah Tolamash and her husband, Joe List. They have a special that came out where they were roasting each other really bad.
Oh, wow. I bet that's fun. We do that too, but not on stage.
Usually just at the grocery store.
Yeah, or in the car. Or in bed before we go to sleep.
Have you ever done videos where you get strangers to laugh? Because you said you had a background in making people laughing.
Not on video, no. Just kind of like out and about at the store or in line for something or at a 49er game or, places like that.
It's really strange because we'll be just talking and just kind of like, razzing each other. And then people that are around us, like anywhere, are just kind of laughing along with it and just kind of like, egging him on or egging me on to like get at him. And it becomes an experience for the people around us. And we're just, messing around with each other. It's not intended to make other people laugh.
Yes. That's the beauty of it, that you just have a natural ability.
Yeah, yeah.
And
When
so,
I used to work at CVS, sorry to go off the rails again here. But
yeah.
yes, I was a cashier, and people would tell me on a daily basis, "Wow, you should be a comedian." And I'm like, I am one.
Oh my gosh. In school, did everybody know that you guys were going to become comedians when you grew up? No
I
idea
was
for you.
bullied a lot.
Yeah, I was also bullied a lot, and I really didn't come out of my shell until my late teens. I was kind of inside. I was an introvert almost like 100%, and abusive childhood,
Yes.
volatile alcoholic parents, things like that. I just was in a shell, and I didn't really come out until my late teens, early 20s.
Me too. I didn't even know I was outgoing until I
Yeah.
I was told I was shy and quiet and sensitive, and I'm sensitive, but I'm not quiet or shy. So yeah, I get it. So you met at a comedy scenario, and how soon did you know that you guys were destined for marriage?
Well, like I said, it was my dream to do comedy, and she was doing it. So we met up a few times for coffee, and she helped me kind of go over what I had, what jokes I had
He
at
had,
the time.
he had an actual notebook
I had,
of little thoughts and like jokes and scribbles. And so what I did was try to condense them into joke format and told him, this is a basic format, and then you just put your own touch on it.
I love
We met
that.
up a few times into that, and then before we knew it, we were hanging out, and we weren't even talking about jokes, And next thing we know, we were going out for dinner, and then it kind of was off to the races from there.
And you've been married just a little over a year.
We got married on July 13th, 2019.
Yeah.
Wow. And you got married in Honolulu, and you were doing.
We got married in Reno.
Okay.
Kind of on the spur of the moment situation.
Uh-huh.
And we went to Honolulu for our honeymoon. And about 2 weeks before we went, I found a guy that was booking shows, and I was like, "Hey, we're coming to town for our honeymoon." And he was like, "Cool, I got a show on this, this date. I'll put you guys on it."
Oh my gosh. And did all the other comics do jokes about you being on your honeymoon doing drama?
No.
That's
Missed
good.
opportunity.
But we got a free bottle of champagne from the hotel.
What's that?
And separate beds, apparently.
Yeah,
we didn't have a full bed for our honeymoon.
Gosh.
Oh, yeah. It was nice, though. I slept good.
Oh my gosh. So tell me about the things that you're each doing, and then tell me what you're doing together. So I guess, Athena, if you want to tell me what your comedy life is separate from Sam, and then Sam, your separate comedy life, and then what you're doing together.
Okay. My comedy life is basically just me doing my YouTube videos and creating, art along with my comedy and stuff like that. I mean, most of the stuff that I do with comedy now just kind of has Sam infused into it, because we kind of just, work together. We travel together. We, go over jokes together.
Yes.
We go over jokes together. So, I mean, separately, I'm me. I go do, shows that I'm booked on. I'm just awkward on stage. So
I love that. That works really well. That's like a whole instant persona.
It really is. It really is. Her character is Scared Panda.
Yeah. That's cool. Who came up with that?
I just came up with it right now.
Yes.
I love it.
So witty.
So then what do you do, Sam, on your own?
So not a lot really, because like she said, we're travel partners, we're writing partners. We kind of do it all together a little bit. Like she'll pick me up from work, before the pandemic. She'll pick me up from work and we'll go straight to Oakland or straight to San Francisco, and we'll hit like 3 open mics. We do get booked individually on showcases sometimes. So we'll support the other one. We'll go and hang out and whatever.
Nice.
I do work at a comedy club separately, so that's kind of cool.
What club?
Tommy T's in Pleasanton.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I do security.
Ah,
Yeah,
wow.
so that's fun.
What's that like?
You know what? It can be the easiest job in the world, and it can be the most painful job in the world. It just depends on if the crowd wants to behave.
Yes. Yes. Do you have a funny story about a night where, not telling any names, but do you have a rowdy story of a customer or an unnamed comic that was just impossible?
Well, there was a comic who I won't mention, but if he ever sees it, he'll know it's him. He's famous though, and he was in a big movie from the '90s. Uh, so he's outside, he brought a posse along, and he was outside, and I was kind of standing next to the stage, not next to the stage, next to the hallway where you come in, and they're like, they introduce him, and he walks right past me, and as he walks past me, I'm like, does he have a cigar? Because smoking indoors is illegal, in California. It's against the law.
Yeah.
And so he goes up on stage, and I see him puffing on a cigar. I was like, oh no. And I ran into the office, and I told the owner of the club, I'm like, he has a cigar. What do I do? And she's like, well, we can't do anything right now. So just keep your eye out. I'm like, okay. And then he's notorious for this. I'm not complaining about it because it was a fun night. But he got really drunk on stage, and the show was supposed to end about 12:30, something like that. He was on stage till about 2:30.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, by the time he finished his set, the club was empty and all the tables were clean.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
At that point, it's not for the audience anymore. It's just for yourself.
So then the two of you together have this production company troupe that involved, and it's called Hypothetical Comedy. And so what is all encompassed inside of Hypothetical Comedy that you want to mention?
Well, the first thing is that we did get a showcase at the club I work at. I was able to get a showcase together, and we called that Hypothetical Comedy, and we were going to keep doing them, but obviously we can't. We did two, and we had two more on the calendar that never happened. So we just moved everything online. Really, we do showcases on Zoom. Last month we did our big 1 year anniversary show, and we had some really amazing comics on there, like Joe Gorman, Melissa McCarthy. I said it again.
Oh my God.
I said it again. I called her Melissa McCarthy on the show. Melissa McGillicuddy. She's a very funny lady. I'm sorry that I said your name wrong again. Paul Conyers, Joe Bates. Anyway.
Wow.
So we do open mic every Friday on Zoom, which is really fun. We do that. We're going to start doing something called a world tour. I'm not really going to give a lot of details on that, but we're going to do that soon. Hypothetical Comedy World Tour. We're going to open up a roasting league in the next month or so. I'm going to run that with one of my good friends. He's a good roaster, and he really wants to do that. So I think we can pull that off. We're going to do some podcasts coming up soon under the name Hypothetical Comedy. I got a friend who wants to help us out with that. And I haven't announced this yet, but we're also going to be doing like a film festival.
What?
A short film festival, yes.
Oh, there's such a market for that. 5
to 10 minute shorts, and we're just going to, let people submit stuff, and we're going to just kind of, come in and watch everybody's films.
Oh, how fun is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Now you said
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You said that Hypothetical Comedy, your showcase, it just celebrated its first year?
Well, Hypothetical Comedy itself celebrated its first year. It didn't start off as a showcase. It started off as just what we called ourselves together.
Yeah.
But it kind of evolved into a showcase. And we had 1 year of being back into comedy and 1 year of being Hypothetical Comedy. So we did a big blowout 1 year show, and it was amazing.
Cool. So if somebody wants to go and ask you to be on the showcase or the mic or the roasting league or the podcast or short film submissions, do they just get a hold of you, Sam Medina?
They can do that. I have a group. Well, we have a group on Facebook. It's called Hypothetical Comedy Network, and everything we do is in there.
Great.
Essentially what we wanted Hypothetical Comedy to be was kind of like our, love letter for, all the comedians that we see, just really putting in all the work out there. We wanted to give them all that platform to hone their craft and the support that a lot of the Bay Area really kind of, taught us within each other. And we were really surprised to find out a lot of, comedy places and venues around the world weren't as supportive of their comedian.
Yeah, we come from a very supportive comedy scene, and so we're just trying to make this platform to give back, something for everybody. That's why we're trying to put our hands in so many different pots.
I've seen that there's a big market, a niche that's not being, oh, I don't know how to say it. Let me just say it. So if you're a beginner comic, because I'm 6 years into it, so I call myself a beginner. So if you're a beginner comic and you've done 3 minutes and 5 minutes, and once in a while you get a 10-minute, and then somebody says, hey, do you have 15 or 20 minutes? You can send me proof that people like you for that long a period of time. I don't have proof, and nobody wants to give me a spot for that long. So I found out that somewhere in the world, there's somebody that's got this avenue where I can say, I want to practice 20 minutes. I can go on this Zoom show and do 20 minutes, and like people might zip in and zip out and watch it, and then it gets recorded and you have a recording of you doing it. But I mean, I think there's a real market to help people to get from nowhere to somewhere in this business.
We provide that with our Friday open mic for Hypothetical Comedy. It's live streamed onto Facebook, and then you can download the video after. So if the people that perform that night really like their sets, then they can, download that and, make a little reel and edit it for them, for something else to be booked on.
Nice. On the open mic, now I can see you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
How many minutes do they get on your open mics on Fridays?
5 minutes.
Awesome. And the Zoom showcase, how often is that?
Well, we were doing them monthly, but I think we're gonna take a break for a couple of months and do other projects and things like that. I feel like the big 1 year anniversary show was kind of a season finale.
Yes.
And so we're gonna go on some other projects and things like that. But essentially they're monthly when we're doing them.
And then when the world opens back up and Tommy T's in Pleasanton opens up, how often will you be doing things there versus on Zoom, or is that not clear yet?
So, I mean, that's not clear. Before the world closed down, we were doing a bi-monthly showcase. So every other month we were doing a showcase. And I did have an idea of doing the same thing on Zoom, to where 1 month we're at Tommy T's, and the next month we're on Zoom, and the next month we're at Tommy T's, and the next month we're on Zoom. But a lot of people think that Zoom comedy is going to go away once the world opens up, but I really don't. I think it's a new world that we never knew about, and I love Zoom comedy. I really do.
I do too.
And I feel like I want to do my best to stay on Zoom. I don't know what the demand will be. I don't know what it'll be like, but I'm gonna hold this thing until it's pried from my cold dead fingers.
Yeah, totally. Me too. So I want to give you both the opportunity to say anything for the next 3 to 5 minutes that I haven't asked or covered, that's on your heart, or about comedians or people making it through the pandemic, or being newlyweds, or blended family with children, whatever you want to talk about, how to cope through hard times, anything.
You want to go? You want to say something?
I don't.
This is because they're 1 year into their marriage. Give them 10 years and they'll be like,
We've been together for 10 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You guys are adorable then.
We got married 9 years into our relationship. I don't know. I love comedy. Here's the thing, Linda. This pandemic, it's terrible. It's awful. People are dying.
Yes.
People are scared. People are just, everything is happening. That's not good.
Yes.
On the flip side of the coin,
Yes.
I have met some amazing people. I have met people in Seattle, people in Vegas, people in Texas, people in Germany, people in the UK. I have met people that I would not have met without the coronavirus happening. And so, the silver lining behind all of this is that there's a whole new unity that we never knew would have existed until this happened. And I really love that. And I like the connections I made. And the best part about that is if the world opens up again and everything goes back to normal and I have a gig in Washington, D.C., I know who to call. If I get a gig in San Antonio, Texas, I know who to call. If I get a gig overseas in the UK, I know who to call. And
Yes.
I wouldn't have known that 6 months ago.
Isn't that the truth? Thank you for that. Do you have anything on top of that to add, Athena?
You know, I mean, I agree with Sam. I think that Zoom has really opened up a lot of, you know, avenues for people, not just comedians, but for people to connect. And one of the things that I think that it does, and it should stay around for, is because a lot of people, like comedians that are disabled, you know, they can't go to a bunch of mics. They can't hit like 5 mics a night, 3 mics a night.
Same thing for audience people.
Yeah, and if they're disabled, they really want to have that entertainment, but they can't go out. So really, online comedy and you know, online sketch comedy and online movie shorts and all of these avenues are really to bring people together and make them understand that we aren't alone. We can still interact with each other, and you know, that's what we wanted to cultivate with our brand. Is, you know, we're here for you and we're cheering you on, and we've got your back.
Oh, that's great. I love your focus. Thank you so much for being out there in San Jose, Pleasanton area, providing a positive reinforcement for comedians. We are sensitive and some of us have issues, and you know, so yeah.
A lot more sensitive than people would think, I'll tell you that.
I've met some very wonderful people who are highly supportive, you know, will buy comedians food and drinks, and, you know, and then you do meet the occasional people who are underhanded, and you have to deal with that. So it's really nice to know that your passion is so strong, your commitment and your passion. And I'm going to be checking out your mic, and, you know, I love to show you my stuff and see who all you have on your mics and shows, and come watch your show.
That's for sure.
What's that?
Oh, I said not Melissa McCarthy, that's for sure.
I'm gonna go tell her you said that.
She knows already. I said it in front of her one time on accident.
Oh my gosh. So what's the funniest thing? This will be my closing question. What's the funniest thing you've seen happen at a mic or a show or any kind of comedy activity? I've got like I've got so many.
I think she has an answer.
Okay.
I mean, all the mics that I go to are funny because I'm awkward, and awkward stuff always happens.
And she's very observant too.
And one time I was doing one of my jokes that happened to be like about porn, and this dude that was drunk came up and stood like right next to me and started pantomiming my joke.
He started pantomiming like he was having sex with somebody.
Right next to me. And then everybody was like, what's happening? Should we step in? Is this part of the act?
I was getting ready because I was watching, and I'm like, okay, well, he's not doing anything too terrible, so like, I won't intervene yet, you know. And then his pants fell down. He was, I mean, every time we tell the story, people think he was naked. His underwear was still on, so that was good. But he got kicked out of the bar.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That reminds me of when Obama was giving a speech in Africa, and that signer that didn't know sign language was up there next to. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
You got to get footage on YouTube of Obama goes, like, when he was in office, maybe his last couple of years. And you know how they vet out everybody. You can't get near the president.
Yeah.
Well, they were looking for somebody that knew American Sign Language in Africa, and they picked up Joe Blow, and he was just doing, you know, like.
Wow. He was just making it?
Yes.
Wow. Fake it till you make it.
That's amazing.
It's the funniest thing ever. Well, you guys have been awesome to come on here. Thank you so much for sharing.
You've been totally awesome too. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your passion. I appreciate it. We have a kindred heart in that my goal is to make sure that comedians know that they do have a voice and that they are too essential.
Yes.
And some of us are a sensual, like you and me, Athena. Okay, you can too, Funky Sam.
No, thanks.
Thank
Sorry,
you so
I muted it.
much.
Somebody's driving by with loud music, so I muted it for a second.
Oh, okay. Thank you so very much. You have 3 children. I didn't even ask what ages and what sexes they are.
Oh, well, they're my children from my previous marriage.
Yes.
I have a son who is 18.
Yes.
He moved out, and I am sad.
Oh, that's sad.
He's across the street at his grandma's house.
I know, but it still counts.
Yes, it does. You're an empty nester.
We can throw a rock at him from here.
And then my oldest daughter just turned 17 in July, and my youngest is 13. So we're getting there. And I'm like, oh, stop growing.
Yeah,
I know.
house full of teenagers. That's fun.
It's not.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Slamming doors and I hate you.
Yeah.
Basically,
much.
yeah.
Teenagers should be locked up until they get past being what is it?
A jerk.
Feeling like, huh?
Get past being a jerk.
Yeah.
Or just forever is
think
okay too. Forever's
They-
okay too.
They think they're invincible. I remember my daughter told me I'm going to go walk on the beach by myself at 11 o'clock at night. We were in
Oh my gosh, no.
we were in
Yeah,
Vero Beach, Florida, and I said, "Oh, you are?" And I said, "Let me dial 911 and tell them." And so I got this lady on the phone. And I go, "You got to help me." I go, "My daughter wants to go walking on the beach here in Vero Beach by herself," and she goes, "We put her on the phone." And my daughter turned white as a ghost and got off the phone and told me the lady had told her that the guy from America's Most Wanted, the little guy that's the host of America's Most Wanted forever, I can't remember his name. His son, he started the show because his son was found dead in a river right in that town.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And so my daughter didn't want to go walking in
Oh, dang.
She got scared straight.
Yeah, it took somebody else to straighten her out, you know. Thank you so much for listening and talking. I have appreciated all that you've told me, and I think that you guys are so amazing together. Congratulations on a year anniversary, and it's like 10 years being together.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
10 years too long. That's what I say.
Hey now.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's cute that one of you is like socially, you say you're self-proclaimed awkward and socially in public.
I am.
Yeah.
And then Sam, he's like the total bipolar opposite, right?
He is. He's so social. It's so funny because we always talk about how I started comedy before him, yet everybody remembers Sam, but not me on everything.
Yeah, people will come up to us and go, "Hey, Sam Medina," and your name is
What are you, a sister? I can't remember.
Yeah, some people think. Yeah, people never remember her. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, I get that a lot too. You know, I got to go up on a show here at the LA Comedy Club. I had been there many times with all the comics, and so Jimmy Earl put me on the show, and I got done, and the manager came up to me and said, "I didn't even know you were a comedian." And I'm like, "Oh, that's supposed to be funny."
You're like, "Thanks," I think.
Yeah. No, I'm just somebody's arm candy. I'm 69 years old. I'm just one of these teenagers' arm candy. What did you think I was? Thanks, you guys. I'll let you go. Have a great night.
Thanks so much, Linda. It's been wonderful.
I'll plug in with your open mic and I'll help promote things you have going from time to time. And now that you graduated from Comic Spot, anytime anything special comes up and you want to plug it for 5 minutes, hit me up. I already got room for you to come back on monthly and plug something.
Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. See you guys later. Athena Rodriguez and Funky Sam Medina. Thank you. Bye.
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 Everybody's talking.